Hello, I'm Jashykins, and welcome to another little vlog review. This time of the Hannibal episode Secondo, or some Italian word. This is the first part of a two-part review of this episode, and I'm going to be doing these two-part vlog reviews of episodes. If I find, an episode that really deserves it and that I just want to talk a lot, now I'm going to give myself room to. Anyways, the first thing is Jack Crawford just appears for a little bit this episode for some fucking reason. And he says something about Will being dead. Will is already dead. Now, last episode, which I sadly didn't have time to get a vlog review out for, I'm so sorry because I would have done like a 3 or 4 part review for that. I have a lot to say about that. But anyways, it's like Will and the Abigail hallucination were in that chapel, and what if Will was actually dead, which I highly doubt, and because we're seeing Will's hallucinations then who would be seeing the hallucinations? Would Jack? Because he's never shown to have that sort of ability. So that's probably in a very metaphorical sense. Somehow the whole events of the season 2 finale affect him so much that he's not really the same, and he won't ever be the same. Poor Will. I would comment about something, but that would sort of be spoilery for a promo for something in the future, so I won't be saying that here. And about who could be seeing Will's hallucinations, it could be Hannibal, but Hannibal has commented about drawing all those to him and wanting to eat Will. And he's a good cook and all, and knows the meat had to sort of be a certain freshness, Bedelia seems to be playing Hannibal, just trying to play games. She even makes a comment about her being strong enough to take him on and, do what he's doing, and Hannibal seems to sort of grin a little at that point, like, this is just so adorable. I got my little apprentice is starting to grow up. But then, of course, Hannibal is at the top of the food chain, and so later he murders someone at the dinner table. The one that was making snide comments in the the first episode of this season. And, well, technically, Hannibal didn't kill him. He just shoved something into his brain, and it was Bedelia removing that actually killed the guy. And so he's like, well, technically you killed him. And I know, some people online were like, oh my god, that's like he didn't know what the fuck to do. But really, Hannibal knew what was going to happen. And just like Hannibal was opening up Will to his own inner darkness, he's doing the same to Bedelia, and Bedelia seems to have much more of an knack of the darkness than Will does. And so, yeah. He's just trying to sort of force her, because she always seems to sort of be somewhat timid about the darkness, but then she does it anyways. It's like she wants to play innocent, but she's playing against someone who knows her, and she wants to play innocent and embrace the darkness and not want to be dark. She's like a really interesting character at this point in time, and I'm really, really loving to see where it goes. But yeah, Bedelia, you go up against Hannibal, and it'll just be like, oh, you expected to win this round. Nope. And finally, for this part, the snail imagery reappeared. In the season premiere, we got to see snails, and in that time, Hannibal, the whole thing was drawn between the snails eating humans, and then, going to be eaten themselves, and Gideon eating himself, and then being prepared to be eaten. Yeah, that really fucked up shit on this show. And if this is like your, like, hey, I want to hear something about Hannibal, I'm like, yeah. It's an awesome show, but yeah, weird shit happens. Anyways, the snail imagery reappears, and upon viewing for the first moment or two, it's like, why the fuck is this there? And it does, I'm going to have to definitely look at this some more, but it definitely does reinforce Hannibal's presence, the snails, and the one guy that was being held that Hannibal claimed ate Misha, Hannibal. I'm sorry, I'm horrible fucking person. And claimed ate Misha, and you see one shot of this guy eating a snail. So it's sort of adding to the imagery. Instead of the snail eating the human has eaten the snail. I really don't know. Okay, the snail imagery reappeared. I'm not too good on symbolism. Don't judge me. I usually have to have read a bunch of other stuff to really get the nuances of this show. And this is the end of part 1 of this little vlog review. So stick around for part 2, and I'll get my advertisements on at the end of that one. Yay! Until next video, goodbye.